Little George and Heidi, shining bright. In the face of adversity, they take flight. With every negative comment, they rise above, spreading love and laughter through the power of love. On the streets of Manila,
This is serious because somebody's going to be deported.
I'm trying to distract everybody from the loud engine that our neighbor has.
Right. So, for popular request of World Zoom,
Yeah, we were.
Paul Cardwell, I guess there were some people that were just like all over the place with the story about World Zoom and what's happened. And a lot of people don't even know about him a whole lot because some watch him, others knew about him, and then some don't even know that like a year ago something popped off in Dumageddon when he lived in that area called Dramageddon about him, and every man has a story. And it looks like Paul has beat Mark Thornton to the punch on being deported. And we have the real reason and some updated information, and it's the real deal. So we're going to go through exactly what actually happened. We're going to kind of break down where Paul told his stories and bring back in some recaps. I have some of the documents of his federal court hearings. Okay, it initially was 12 charges of wire fraud. Okay. And the amount that they're putting in the newspapers isn't really right. It's just the last information that they actually had. So, to give you guys a breakdown for Paul World Zoom, it looks like it basically started where he went to apply for an extension of his current visa or to go for a extension. Okay. And when they did a further background, this is when what they're
Boom.
putting in the newspaper is actually going, has actually come up. And I want to let you guys know that I've seen probably a dozen vloggers cover this today, and only one will I agree with right now because he said about the most intelligent thing that I heard. And then we'll fill you in what we actually think and what we actually found out by a few phone calls today and research and looking into court documents and what we didn't find. Okay. So since this morning, we already had some information because to everybody, this literally just came out in the newspaper about midnight. So most everybody was sleeping. They woke up. Some of us get up at 5 and 6. They found it. And then all of a sudden, boom, everybody was putting a story out. But I just keep hearing the basics and all these insinuations of what happened. I heard Mike's retirement, Philippine retirement over in Dumageddon, where he said he doesn't cover drama. He sure was in on that first thing on the live stream this morning. He's like, I don't know.
I don't cover drama, but let's talk about it.
But no, he's like, I don't know. Every time somebody asks, I don't know. Okay. And I'm like, oh, why are you doing a live stream? It's like
you just are
he
talking
just
about
did
drama.
it.
You
Right.
just
So,
are
and
doing
it's
drama.
okay to cover it. Okay. But it's like we said, own it. And there's going to be somebody that's going to pick over your bones. I expect you guys to clean your plate when I go out of here like that. Okay. So when they hook the cuffs on me and they put me up out of here for whatever reason, I want you guys to pick over my bones real good. I'm counting on it. That's for real.
Don't worry, baby. That's what the freezer in the back is for.
I said pick over my bones, like all my drama, babe. Be sure to put all the drama out, right?
Sig, just saying.
I'm not talking about that, man.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking of a sentence.
Wow.
But
Okay.
anyway, they're going too dark there.
Yeah, it's funny. I see Alex saying Zoom back to the States. Well, he just got back here. So there was an insane insinuation that he went back to expunge his records,
Okay,
and we
there
were
is
just
no expunging
laughing.
that. There's
Not really. It would take hearings, and he just got there. It wasn't long enough for him to try to expunge nothing, and so that's not why he went back to the U.S.
No.
And then there was insinuations that he lied the whole time and that he was here pretending, but the house just looked all like the U.S. No, he actually went back. But then here's my thing. I don't know why he would take a risk when there's that many things going on. But I will tell you guys what actually is going on. Hey, Michael Johnson, Music to Motion.
Oh yeah, speaking of
Ted
Michael
is in
Johnson,
here
yeah. Guys, you guys like that intro? This is the gentleman responsible for the
for our
music.
theme song,
Thank you so
which
much,
we
Michael.
plan to use. We really do appreciate it. So a lot of people like that song. I see a few people in the house. So we're going to get into it. So that way,
Ted,
this
my
is
man.
covered up front because I told George we should have covered this morning, but again, we wanted more information. So we will give it to you now all dirty, okay? Let me give it to you
Wait,
nice,
what?
hot, and dirty. That's the way they like that live stream today. Give it to them dirty, babe.
All right, I'll call you Carsey number 2.
So, like, how do you want to break this down? Do you want me to give them the full breakdown and then the videos, or
Okay, well, actually, again, just so you guys know, be aware that one, not everybody knows Paul Caldwell is. Nobody knows his whole story. In fact, Dusty, again, everybody knows Dusty at this point in time among you guys in the chat. He
there's
doesn't.
a lot of new people,
Right, there's a lot of new people,
And
and
they're
bear
gonna
with us that again. That's another thing. Even us, while we're going through the content, we were like, "Oh my god, I completely forgot about that." You know,
Right. So Paul Caldwell, World Zoom, just popped up out of nowhere. His channel, I think, started over 2 years ago. Allegedly, he said he was in Thailand. He went through the Dramageddon, Doomageddon group, saying, you know how everybody gets their interviews through Everyman, and how Paul and Mike's Philippine retirement, all these guys interviewed him, right? He ended up also on the Philippine P, which she has deleted the video since.
Right.
When she found out that everything coming out of his mouth was an untruth.
she's the first one to drop it.
Right.
Honestly,
she was the
she did.
very first one to
She's the
drop
first
it.
one.
And then we were sitting there listening to a story one day, and I was like, that just doesn't sound right. He's got too much. You know how you hear every man has a story? Some of them stories you're like, is that even real?
And that's why we're gonna go back this is also for you guys who've known who he is, but for those
the new
who
ones.
again for the
Right.
new
So
ones,
we're gonna
we're gonna go back in time only because to establish character. All
Okay.
right.
So, well, I was just asking which one you wanted to do. Okay. So
Well, either way, here's
his
the
wanted by the FBI
FBI.
poster. Okay. This was him back in the day when the states
FBI
was
most
looking
wanted.
for him. Okay. And what it is he stole a lot of money from a hospital. Okay. He was upper management there. And what happened is the amount that the Philippines is telling you guys is incorrect. It was one of the wire fraud money that he sent over to actually spend in Thailand to buy property. Okay. So the initial money, and that was the second guy that was with him that was charged, by the way. So there was another guy with him. Okay. That he ended up wiring money to all the time that created a fake company. And it was some story because it was all over the news for Wyoming and Indiana and everything. 3.8 million US dollars is what he managed to get all the way around. And by the way, there were some big papers covering this, like his court hearing, everything else. It was a big deal back in the day. So from 2003 to 2009, he was taking money from a public hospital, not a private, money that was needed to fund, money that was needed to fund for extras for the hospital and the poor and everything. He was actually siphoning that money off. Okay. So a public small town hospital. Amazing. Okay. There was more, right? That was the entire video.
No.
I just want to make sure you got the right one. Okay.
Well, basically how we did it, which
you can, well, let me,
I'll break. That's a breakdown. Go ahead.
okay. So what happened is that his charges, had turned out to be 3 felonies. Okay. And what happened is that the court hearing went on this somewhere around 2011. And what happened is when this all went down in 2012, he fled the country. Okay. So the court hearing was going on. They told him what charges he was going to get. And then what he did is that he was out semi on his own recognizance, white collar crime, a lot of money and all that. He then stole a family member's passport, and the money that he did siphon, he took it on over to Thailand and he left. Okay. Mind you, we'll show you some clips where he's telling his own story, telling Paul and the rest of the gang all these lies why he was in Thailand.
Tell you the backstory.
And so after he fled, when he left, he took a family member's passport and everything. Okay. So this new information in the newspaper, I've heard several vloggers cover this today, that it's like some mysterious, like he just got recently actually caught it, in Thailand. No, this is quite some time ago. So it's still the same story. We're talking 2013. Okay. Around June, he was actually brought back from Thailand. They caught him there. Well, let me tell you who turned him in. Who always turns the guys in?
If you do anything wrong in the Philippines or in Thailand, apparently.
Looks like the girlfriends like to turn
Correct.
you in.
They'll turn you in
quick. And so the girlfriend turned him in. But not only was she his girlfriend, he also fathered a child. Like in a short period of time, it was like 18 months maybe he was there. He fathered an actual child that he left behind also. All right. So then he was brought back for sentencing in 2014. Okay. And he actually, I can tell you when he was released and probably about when he arrived here. So it looks like, I think they call it turning state evidence. I'm not like a super professional on this. He went against his partner and got some information. He was a snitch
He was a
in
snitch.
jail, okay, or in
Plea
prison,
bargain.
in federal prison, okay, federal.
Mhm.
And he did some sort of bargain, and he was supposed to do 10 years, and he got out in 17. So he was only in there for 3 years, okay? Now, mind you, when he was in Thailand, to step back a little bit, he actually was in there for so long. He was in there, I don't know, a while. He had lost a bunch of weight and everything, but he sat in a Thai prison, which is not pretty at all. He
No.
said it straightened him up, and he was a newborn, he was newborn, right? And so he got out in 2017 because he turned snitch, which is not a good look, man. Not a good look at
Well,
all.
basically, he had to. Honestly, if they had to let him loose, otherwise he won't make it.
And we're not
Just
talking about
saying.
like this little petty stuff. We're talking about you just don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
like
don't snitch
mafia
somebody in prison,
guys,
you know what I'm saying?
gangster guys, all
Correct.
of this, they just don't do it. There's guys that'll sit up and do 20 years and never even breathe towards you. And that's one person I can't. A stool pigeon like that directly in prison.
Stool pigeon.
We're not talking about this little YouTube bickering that, hey, I saw Heidi over there steal a Snickers bar out of 7-Eleven.
No,
There
we're
she is.
talking about
We're talking
plea
about
bargain stuff,
hardcore,
yes.
going to get yourself knocked right upside the head in jail.
Well, here's the thing. Again, we're gonna break it down. Okay, first off, we're not gonna play his whole story. We're gonna play the relevant parts. Actually, part of his story is like, oh, like they knocked off 80% of my
Right, so-
sentence, not because I snitch. I'm like,
All right.
really,
Okay, so
really.
all right,
They
so
just did it out of their goodness of their hearts. I'm just
all
saying.
right, so then I want to ask, the story you have is his explanation after he was exposed, right?
Right. Well,
did you get any
I have
of
both. I have
Paul's?
both. I
All right,
have
so he
both.
has where he's telling
I have
Paul's
both.
story, and then where he
then we're gonna
explains.
pause, and then whoa, hold up. Here's the story.
All right, go ahead and play that. So, being
All right.
everybody has the basics. If you guys haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps our channel grow. Wrong one.
No,
This is
no.
all
No.
good. Oh, this is it.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is it. I was
You
just,
did the same FBI
correct.
post, right? Thank you. So it was the FBI, a
all
federal
right. So
charge.
okay, keep in mind, this is not about Paul Old Dog. He just happened to be the interviewer.
Right.
Just keep in mind that. Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right, so Paul, you were administrator in Bangkok at a hospital.
I was, yeah. I was a president and CEO for 6 years in Thailand. And
Okay. What's the wrong with the story, Heidi?
That's just a no. He didn't have a work permit. He wasn't going.
Not
You're not
in
allowed
Thailand.
to. Yeah, you're not getting a licensing to practice anything in a hospital like that as an administrator. Nothing. So that was, and I want you guys to see my boy Paul, which I'm very proud of, where his bullshit meter goes off on him. It's like.
Well, here's the thing about Paul. He
He
won't
knew it.
call him out.
But you could see
But you
him at
can-
some point.
Now,
read his face.
keep in mind this video is heavily edited because again, we're not gonna show you everything that Paul Cardwell says, but
Give you an idea where his character is.
Paul's like,
And
you
I
can
just
tell
want to
with
let
his
you
facial
guys that when all
expressions.
this fell through, including Mark Thornton, I guess there was a whole Mark Thornton thing on the side that is involved. And I was going to do Mark's stuff on photo on this because he's kind of involved somewhat in this because they had a long falling out the last couple months where World Zoom was talking about his wife and said that they were all children grabber brides, young bride grabbers over there. And there was some seriousness back and forth. He called him out on his lies and talked about him going to jail, which everybody already called him out at that point. But he was mad at that point because he said he married a child bride. Okay. So there was a falling out with his soon to be jailmate because when this all goes down with Every Man Has a Story, he'll be joining him in the same location as soon as he goes to renew his visa. Unless he's going to go like Tago and Tago or something.
TNT, which means go illegal immigration.
Yeah, save me a spot too.
All right, so
total. Well, they had the red shirts and the yellow shirts battled in the government, pro monarchy and pro of the king, as I am, and then a group that was pro military and they supported the military junta. Yeah.
This is where the fun begins.
Yes, it is. Yeah, someone came from the Bangkok Post and said, "Hey, you're a foreigner. You run this hospital, and all your executive staff are Americans. And what do you think about the politics of this?" And of course, I was supportive of the king. Mm-hmm. Because I'm supportive of the king. At that point, it was Rama IX, the current king's father,
Okay.
not Rama X. right? And I'm a backer.
The
I'm a
whole
believer.
time
I
he was
like
in
him.
jail.
I always have. He's passed away several years
whole time.
ago, but he did some great things. And of
most
course,
part.
I'm not stupid. Anything that's going to be political, I'm going to be supportive of the king, whether I disagreed or
No,
not.
he's,
And
very
so
narcissistic.
I did that in, you know, in the article with the Post.
And after that article came out, what
Here's
happened
the
to you?
story. His
The
story.
police came me the very next day and arrested me.
Now, according to him, the reason why he got arrested in Thailand is because he said a political statement. Did that really happen?
No. Oh, there's other things that he said he was, and he needs to fully apologize to Steve Johnson for saying Steve. At some point, he was attacking Steve Johnson.
Well,
Which
that's eventually in there.
Which is
Yes.
eventually in there because he tried to call him out on stolen valor, which
Right.
he has done. So this guy is just
Yeah, we will get to that. It gets better, trust me. And for those of you who don't know the story, or actually, in fact, a lot of you probably forgot of all this stuff that came
Good
out of
morning,
this
Manny.
guy's mouth.
oh boy,
And put me in prison, put me in jail.
his woman put
How
him in
long were you
prison.
in jail?
For me, it lasted about, I think it was 21 days or
No,
He had to think about that. Think about it. Do you really have to think about, oh, I was there for a couple of weeks? No, you don't have to think about that. You're already, oh, I was there for
he
21
was
days.
in there for 8 months, according to Thai prison records, confirmed today. 8 months.
Yes.
Oh, a couple weeks.
22 days that I was actually in the
Lose
Thai
my
prison.
mind up in here.
So it was the immigration prison. Bong Kwong was the separate prison. I was in for saying something against the government and, you know, being boisterous against, not against the king. I was never charged. I was never charged with anything. I was never charged with less
They
than
wanted
death.
to deport you, right?
They wanted to deport me. They did, in fact, deport me. I mean,
Well, who was your cellmate? You were telling me.
Okay, this is proof again. You guys ever
All right,
sit in a bar? Here's the thing. He's not in a bar. If I was sitting in the bar, I would get the stories.
But he went around telling everybody the same
Correct, the
story,
same
along with
stories.
all these made
So-
up tales. So the only thing that's right is he worked at 2 hospitals that he stole almost $4 million US
Not even in
dollars
Thailand.
from.
Not even in Thailand.
He took the money he wired to the friend that he ratted out even more and other people in jail. They wired him up allegedly in jail to get more information to let him out 7 years early. Do you realize what he had to do to get out 7 years
Correct.
early?
We're talking about a serious rat
A
here.
serious stool
Serious
pigeon.
rat, yes.
I would boil up some water and dip him in it. That's what I'm talking about. That's the type of stool pigeon what he would deserve at that point, right? So he did this. So let's step back to say he was out on his own recognizance or some sort of bail, unconfirmed, right? And at this point, he stole the little thief. Then stole a family member's. We're to understand it's a brother's passport.
His brother's
And
passport.
took his passport and ran off to Thailand and just started partying and
Which he will
spending
deny,
money.
and then we'll show you
Girlfriend,
that.
got a woman pregnant, everything else. And we were just watching his. Here's the elephant in the room. And the funny thing is here in the last few months, he actually did a video. 7 reasons expats get
Why
arrested.
not? Why not get a girlfriend? I mean, I already got $4 million essentially. Why not get a girlfriend? Just saying.
I'd have been hitting them
In
bars,
all
man.
honesty.
I'd have been hitting the bars, smoking it
No, I
up,
get it,
hitting the
yeah.
bars.
And
I
then-
wouldn't have permanently knocked somebody up.
No, at that point you don't care because
I'd have bought a lot of
you feel you're untouchable.
pussy. That's what I'd
Right?
have
No,
bought.
no, right. But again,
Get
at that
poo,
level, you think you're
poo,
untouchable, and
Like
that's
a
what he
sea
thinks.
ocean.
Yeah.
Pussy.
Put you into a cell and you had a cellmate. Who was that
Yes, if you remember the Merchant of Death, the Nicolas Cage movie, he most recently was given up in an exchange with the Russians
Yes,
and the
he did.
U.S. for the basketball player. Brittany Griner was traded for him, and he
His
was
roommate.
Yeah, that was my roommate. And
Okay. Oh, it's backwards. Sorry. Here's the thing. It's a glitch. Okay, here's the thing. You can still read it. 2010 is when they released
Are you
the Merchant of Death, but he was incarcerated in 2013. Not even this close.
He didn't meet him there. That was
Not
not true.
even
The
close.
type-
I mean, think about it. The point is he made up this wild story. Oh yeah, I was in the same cell as Merchant of Death. No, bro, you were incarcerated 3 years after he was released. Not when the time he was incarcerated, the time he was released, and the time when Brittany was released. Like, dude, it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? That the reason why we put that in there is because again, it's to establish that he's a spinner of tall tales.
Well, should I tell the rest of his spinner of tales that he told the court and everything, or is him somewhere in the line?
Oh,
The other spinner of tales besides that.
which one? That's the sad part.
Well, do you have any additional
Well,
ones
no.
besides the stolen
Well,
situation?
let's finish this and then we'll go from there.
Well, but you're talking about other bold-faced lies, things that he lied about.
right. Well, the
Okay, we'll
things
see.
are
I don't
here.
think he does. I think he only said these in courtroom. It was put out to the papers
Where
and
is
what
it?
he said in court.
And was
Right.
that gentleman, Victor Bout.
Yeah, and see, he's actually said the name, so there is no doubt who it is. And again, just saying
He didn't.
he. And the funny thing is, he said after this, Google it, and I'm like, actually, I did, and it doesn't add up.
Was his name B-O-U-T? If you
So let me go all the way back to the beginning, if you'll.
All
This
right,
is
a-
his
yeah.
after he got busted.
So after everybody found this out, like I think several months went by. I think we just seen it's been 10 months since 10 or 11 months since things had actually went. It's been a while. So he started talking about the elephant in the room situation, and he didn't address it when he first got back and like when everything was going on, but he finally addressed it after we even had a coverage of this back in the day, because it was just a shock to everybody with some of the things he was saying. And he went from interviewee to interviewee telling the same stories, and nobody was buying his story. And he was calling out a lot of people saying these are true, and it was never true. So
Allow me, and I'll be concise and do it quickly. The only thing that's really like hurt my heart in this whole process is that one thing that Steve said in a Philippine show over on.
I'd dip his head in my
Philippine
coffee.
Info Channel.
I
He's talking
would
about
dip
Steve
his
Johnson.
head
Philippine Info
side
Channel.
down
Great
in
channel.
my coffee
Steve is
right
a great
now,
guy.
piping hot, and I would put that stool pigeon in there like
Right?
like an effing donut right now, right?
You know what
got
they
me
do
all.
with stool pigeons in Egypt? Just saying. You go Google it.
Mm.
And those eyeballs staring at you as you eat them.
Man, there's like a code on the street. I get it. I wish people would live by the code, because half these YouTubers would shut their yaps.
Isn't there an old saying like snitches get swatches or something? Right?
They
Isn't
get
that a cool watch?
watch?
Snitches get swatches.
Man, this guy was like the scum of the scum. We're talking about, think about being in a small town where there's a hospital that only has so many funds to give a small child a wheelchair, or somebody needs a leg, an artificial leg, or needs extra money for heart surgery. He took those funds, man. He left the town
now,
upside down.
Bear in mind, everything we're saying is already proven fact. This is
not made up stuff.
We're just trying to establish his character. Again, I'm sorry if we say he's a stool pigeon or how
Yeah,
but it
right.
is
You can't
what it
believe
is.
everything you
Did he do
hear
that?
on
Yes.
YouTube lessons learned. Yeah.
Right. Did he do that? Yes. And again, but
And
here
that's
he
what
is
you're going to
explaining
find,
himself.
because we try before we bring something up, especially lately, and we plan to get even better at it. We make sure we get all the backside, because we've heard several stories today and only one person came close to understanding what happened, and they didn't present. Like, we want everybody to get like the whole picture. And there were so many different things in there that was like actually like unreal. And there was somebody who's like, well, I'm not going to go into details fully about everything like other channels do. Actually, it's kind of necessary.
It
and
is
you
necessary,
still get
'cause-
into the drama yourself. Several channels say, I don't get into the drama. And then every time something comes up, they're in the drama pointing fingers. And you know what? I really don't care.
Right.
I'm all up in this
Well,
drama, and it's what we do.
There's
I
a
mean,
difference when we
it's an
say
expat.
opinion and versus facts. Right now, we're all talking facts because these are done, tried.
Oh, yeah.
proven.
Goldfinger would be next.
Again. What?
Nothing. Just mind.
No,
just
we're not
mind
going to
your
do
business.
Goldfinger. We're going to do Gold Member.
I called him Gold Member. I said his name's not Gold Member. George says no.
That's
I said-
Gold Member. Come on, ladies. I'm the ladies man.
You're not. I'm gonna put you in my coffee here. Put it in the
I
coffee.
think his name is Leroy Phelps. I'm Leroy Phelps.
Phelps. You are.
ladies man. But anyway,
He really was walking around town like that, by the way. That's how I found him.
wait, what?
It is. You had all them women around you when we met.
Not like that. I'm just
Yeah, they were
I'm just a friendly.
employees.
Well, I'm just a friendly guy. Period. Doesn't matter.
Chatting
who.
it up with the cashier. All these women, go ahead and grab whatever you want and get your sodas and
Actually,
drinks.
I
and-
did take a woman out to date one time, and we sat in a restaurant, and I started naming all the restaurants by name, all the waiters by name, and they're like, "You've been here before?" I said, "No."
Man, he said not Goldfinger too. He makes me laugh. You know what? To be honest, we have to get full everything. Somebody else asked us to look somebody else up, but like I said, we're when we try to present these things, we try to present it like in the expat manner, what not to do, and this and that, and then it came in the realm. I do feel some channels go extremely far on some situations, and some need to go extremely far on, but sometimes it's
Well, sometimes it's lacking. I mean, I'm not picking on anybody, but what I'm saying is like,
it's kind of comical.
go all the way, man. Just saying, go all the way.
All right, come on,
All right.
because this
Trace
is a
materials where it was like a stolen valor comment. And I have to tell you that that was one person in 2012 that gave an anonymous statement to the Tribune that was doing an investigation saying that I had made a statement that I was a U.S. Navy SEAL. I emphatically deny ever saying.
Au contraire, I have actually newspaper clippings where he said it in
He
court.
said that, and here's the
in
thing:
court
in court, right? In court. However,
and witnesses.
now I'm not gonna name the YouTuber that interviewed him, but I clearly, distinctly remember him saying
Mhm.
that the YouTuber says, "So were you not in the U.S. Navy SEALs?" And says, "Yes, I was a member of the U.S. Navy
He
SEALs."
did. He definitely did.
However, unfortunately, that video does not exist on the internet anymore.
And then I found
But
it in
he
the
did
newspaper.
make that statement on
Yes.
on YouTube. Forget what the court says, which again is on record. But he did say on YouTube he was part of the Navy SEALs.
Right. So stolen valor.
Correct.
Guys.
And again,
And he
Steve
wasn't.
Johnson called him out, and
And he got mad at him later and really kicked up a fuss on that one. And several people that worked with him and remembered him clearly, and his own statements. He said that along with
Yes.
other stuff. Yes.
Anything like that. In fact, that's the only time you'll ever see it in the next 13 years. So this goes back to my time in Indiana as a hospital CEO, where I actually retired from that position and left and moved.
he retired. Just saying, he retired. He didn't retire. He got caught and then terminated. He did not retire from that position.
Moved to Thailand, came back and began my job as a hospital CEO in Wyoming. In both cases, I had a dummy company, and I did conspire to commit money laundering, which are one of my two charges, right? Conspiracy to
Want to let you know he was charged with 3 felonies, but I believe it was 12 or 17 counts. I have it up here. It'll be in the listing of wire fraud. So, and it wasn't one company. He created one to send
Dummy
money over to his
companies.
friend, but he did it to a hospital, and he did
Commit
it
money.
He did it from 2003 to 2009 directly with a hospital. 4.8 million.
Correct. And it's not just 3 felonies. He committed more. However, if you're familiar with the
I
U.S.
think it was
law,
17.
yes, they tried to do a plea bargain, especially since he's a rat. They were like, okay, well, since you're doing this, we're going to do this for you. Eventually, he ended up with just 3.
Yeah, because it was 2 different things. So from that point, he had stole 1.7 million, a total of 3.8 million. It said then in 2011, he funneled nearly the money that the Philippine government mentions. And I want to let you know that most of the articles all over Asia right now are repeating the same article. Okay. And I do see some people that are making comments about what they feel happened. But we're going to tell you the difference of what the Philippine government's still saying and what's probably actually going on. So there's 2 government actual stories going on. In 2011, he funneled that $848,000, okay, which he spent up in Thailand. But the thing is that he was already convicted for all of those charges, and there are other people that have seen that this has already happened. Okay, so there's a lot going on still.
Yeah.
So
laundering, wire fraud. Those are my 2 charges. Not taking anyone's passport, not fleeing it.
wrong.
Wrong. First, he applied for a passport. However, he got denied. Why was he denied, babe?
Because he's a stool pigeon.
The moment you commit
just kidding.
that particular felony that you
Correct.
committed, you are not
It is
allowed to leave.
the country. And so federal charges such as his, regardless if they considered it white collar or whatever, he's under federal charges. Okay. There are so many things. So like when this is totally done, we'll probably all get into a discussion about felons coming in here. We're asked all the time, can I come in? What's the charges? what's going on and what the Philippines is starting to do. So, but no, he attempted to apply. He was denied, and he did because he ended up in Thailand. They actually rearrested him in 2013. So he's lying.
Pretending to be his brother.
Look, the FBI wanted poster was during that time. So what does he mean he didn't steal somebody's passport? When you have that big of a charge with that much money you owe and you was on probation, they're not letting you out of the country, man. You got to wait 5 to 10 years for multiple reasons. 5 to 10 years because they usually won't reissue you a passport as a felon, whether it's federal or not. And some airlines will know you're a felon in advance when you travel international. And you could. Now, do people get away with it? Sometimes. But most of the time, some airlines can even ban you international flights.
Correct.
When they find any of this out. Somehow they know now, guys. They do know. And somehow the life has caught up with him.
Right. And the thing is, like I said, it's one thing that I understand he committed this stuff and it's behind him, whatever.
this-
However,
did
don't
you-
lie about it
Did
and
you
put it
catch-
on YouTube. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Did you catch the date that he gave his update? Did you look at the date?
Well, let's play this. And you have your...
I know. I'm just
All right.
asking you, do you know when this was? It doesn't matter. It's still.
Well, I know the date of his release. I'm not sure which
I'm
date we're
talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The
Yeah.
day that he put this video out. Was this? 2
Oh,
months
this
ago?
date. No, I don't remember this
Okay,
date.
that's
But
okay. It's
Anywhere.
well, it's 2023.
all
when
right.
he
So
released
it's
this,
10
when
or
he released
11
this.
months ago. So
Right.
okay.
Although I did go to Thailand and was actually arrested in Thailand, I boarded a plane and came back after I was arrested there, came back to San Francisco and was arrested by the FBI.
That's because
Incorrect.
they deported him and
Correct,
he's waiting. They
incorrect.
were waiting for him.
Yes, he did not go willingly. No.
He actually sat there for 8 months. And the same here. He will probably wait that long or longer. Anybody that gets held in these jails here waiting to be deported, it takes some time.
Right.
So, for sure.
In San Francisco and started that journey. That was on June 6th of 2013. That
Hey,
was
he
my
said
time.
he told the truth. He told the truth. He's right. That's when he did come back.
Of being arrested,
June
right?
2013.
So in June 6,
Amen,
2013, I'm arrested on a multiple felony counts. I can't remember how many, but
Here,
See, that's why they
Hold on.
multiple, not just 3, multiple.
Well, it was funny because he tried to play that off, but
Actually, he tried to play it down. Yes. I edited that out because
I mean, here's the thing: if you've already been caught, man, you've already been caught. You might as well come out.
honestly,
with it.
I
It's
don't see a reason why you put out the video. I mean, it's like kind of not. It's kind of damning and damning at the same time.
I have the records, which you'll see here, that I have the U.S. District Court, Federal District in Wyoming, where they filed the United States District against him. And it shows initially March 15th, 2012 is when the actual indictments actually came against him. But I'm going to get the, hold on, I got him here, guys. Give me a minute. I'm going to tell you how many. I believe it was 17. Hold on.
Right. Chosen One says fugitive YouTuber. When did people start doing that? Exactly. I'm like, seriously, bro? I mean, if you're running and trying to hide from the law,
All right,
why
right
are you
now
YouTuber?
I see currently it appears to be, I believe it's 15. 15 counts of wire fraud, 3 major felonies, and he was staring down the barrel. Penalties for Paul D. Cardwell. Penalties are 20 years in prison, followed with 250,000 in fines and 3 years. They got like a final on all the charges. Oh, there it is. The final. Here, can you actually see this, George?
No, babe, I have bad eyes.
Okay, so you guys will be able to see it here in a minute. So when they put all the wire frauds together, he was looking at 290 years.
That's it?
Look, 290 years and 3,700,000 in fines by 3 years supervised probation.
3,350,000. That's it. Oh, I have that in my back pocket right now.
You don't even have that in pesos.
Okay,
dude.
now keep in
Ain't gonna
mind,
lie.
keep in mind the amount. Okay, 3,000,000 and 3/4. Okay, not 3,000,000 1/4. It's 3
He
million
is, Andy. He's a
3/4. Okay, so let's continue.
Yeah, that's the only thing he got right, but he's wrong on the 15 cases. But he was staring down the barrel of 290 years. Man, I'd have took my sister's passport and probably stuffed them all in a suitcase and took it. I mean, gee whiz, he was really in trouble at that point.
All right.
That's so
You know, when they first sock it to you, they really sock it to you. There was just a litany of charges that I was looking at that time.
Did I not
That's an
just say that,
understatement.
stool
That-
pigeon?
that's an
I'm gonna dunk
understatement.
you in this coffee again, man. He's starting to look like a little Dunkin' Donut. I haven't had sugar in months, man. He's
Right.
starting to look like a wet mop there.
That sentence. So it all comes down on that day, January
just wanna let you
27th.
know
I
he
get
was passed around as
121
somebody,
months in federal
BIT.
prison. Finally, just through the grace of God, I won and was released from federal custody. Now, remember, I got 121 months and I served 2.5. And so I've seen
He
some of
served
these
3,
nasty
record
comments
show.
that said, oh, he must have ratted somebody.
Okay, he's defending himself as he didn't rat anybody. Now, here's the thing. The odd thing is he says, oh, they don't knock off 80% of your sentence because you ratted somebody. I'm like, actually?
No, he actually, the court documents show, okay, I have the indictment, but the other documents had a lot more numbers in there, so I'm not going to show those, but the newspapers and the TV, and he was supposed to do 121 months. That's what he left in an orange suit saying he was sorry that 121 months. They do not drop that off like that for no reason.
Exactly. It must have been some
So-
serious stooling there, just saying.
Yep.
Out to get that reduced sentence. Come on, this isn't the movies. That doesn't. Where would I have been as a hospital CEO where I would have been involved in something that would be of value?
Okay, now listen to what you just said. Where would I be as a hospital CEO where I'd be of value when we're talking about $3.75 million? So you really think that,
And he took that other money out with him.
yeah, so that's not chump change, obviously. We're talking about serious ratting out here, you know?
290 years.
Federal government that they would say, okay, we're going to take away 80% of a sentence. Now, I'm released from prison. I've paid my debt, both in my time served. I've actually paid my debt on the money that I've.
Did you see? I feel like I have to rewind it. He says he paid his debt on time served and money. So obviously this guy has $3.75 million in his pocket, just say. No, it's his words, guys. You heard it.
Yeah.
I paid my time served and money.
Well, $1 million. Well, actually, he did, Niche. As allegedly, when he arrived in Thailand, he took part of that money that he wired to his friend. As I'm to understand, that friend was along with him and some other people when they went to Thailand, just buying real estate, doing all these other different things, and he impregnated a woman and left a son behind. I remember when I first seen World Zoom, and I don't know if you guys remember when he came on the scene, he kept telling a story about a woman in Dubai, a
Well,
police officer.
Oh
he
my
was
God,
dating.
the police
Does anybody
officer. Okay,
remember the Dubai?
anybody who watches World Zoom, his stories are kind of like, wait, what?
Yes, that's where he claimed
I was
he
dating the only first female officer
officer
in
in
Dubai.
Dubai.
I'm like, whoa, this guy's serious. This guy's hardcore.
Right. And then here's the thing: just rate out in public. He's running this YouTube channel, and everybody caught him, and it's in the newspapers and the things that he said. I'd go ahead and run the rest of that because I want to say all these
Yeah,
other
of
things that he
course.
said before we get to what's really going on and what the Philippines
What's really
is up
going
to.
on?
Oh, we know, and a few of them had guessed. I think the rest of the lives and the videos put out, I feel only so many people got what was going on.
Yeah, it's not what
really
you think.
going
It
on.
involves CBD gummies. Just kidding. All right.
I wish.
Right?
You said CBD. What the hell?
What do you mean? That's illegal here. No, I'm not joking. It is. Anyway.
Is it?
CBD, yes. It's still
Oh,
from
that's
that.
right. Yeah, you
It's
can't
still
use any of
from
it.
Anubis. No.
Right. Yeah. I was thinking.
Yeah.
I was thinking of melatonin. So my
Same
mind's
thing
not
in
there.
Mexico. It's
Melatonin.
but no.
Sorry, I was thinking melatonin.
Yeah.
Owed back to the hospital in its entirety. That Mark, every man has a story, told you. I still owe the Internal Revenue Service a large sum of money. I may never get that paid back, right? So I served on house arrest until October of 2016, and then I was done. I received my passport in 2017. So, okay, let's flash
I
forward.
missed that. What was that about the 2017 passport?
Oh yeah. Well, he has acquired a passport somehow at 2017. That's what he says.
All right. So here's the weird thing. He was released from prison in 2017. And with those type of federal charges, and he owes IRS, and he still owes, he didn't pay back that money and his assets weren't seized. He still at that point still owed money. And I'm gonna tell you what, it had took a lot to release that, but somehow I believe he could have got it when he arrived. Remember, he didn't arrive back in Asia till we seen him on the scene, which was what, 2022, 2023, give or take.
Yeah.
And it appears that he was like back where his mother's house was. He said he was at his
Correct.
mother's house. So my guess is he had to wait that 5-year period at least. But that doesn't mean you're really allowed to travel as that felon now, is it? Onward, James.
Onward we go. All right.
Now it's 2023, right? I've been out of jail since 2016. I've had some
Incorrect.
Incorrect.
2017.
There's release documents, 2007. He
Correct.
can't. Yep.
Right. I mean, again, remember, he's downplaying everything.
He's starting to look like a Dunkin' Donut stick right now.
Right.
That's what's going to happen to him where he is right now.
good jobs. I
No one's
worked for
gonna
the
stop his
state.
ass.
I
Okay,
Good
listen.
coffee and a biscuit.
After he got released from prison in 2017, he got a good job.
passed those background checks, right?
Passed those background checks.
Amen, brother.
Good for you, man. You passed those background checks. My man.
I
Right.
worked as a COO.
I worked as a
Incorrect.
COO. Okay, for
Dude,
those of
no.
you who don't know what COO is, he's the next in command after a
There are people that do
CEO.
6 months in county jail that have a hard time finding a McDonald's
I
job.
mean,
Don't give me
dude,
that.
you'd be lucky if you'd be a janitor for a university.
And
okay?
even then, that would be an impossible.
But according to him, he got a job right away after 2017, after he got released as a COO
what did you
of a
say they
university.
called it? I called it narcissism, but you said flat out what he actually does. I'm still tired. We've been covering a lot of stuff. You said it wasn't that. He's just really
Oh, he's a compulsive liar. Yes.
well compulsive. Yeah, there's other
He's a
words
compulsive
for it.
liar. He can't help himself because, again, his own words don't make sense. Even you guys were like, okay, a lot of you guys don't study law. I don't study law. I'm not a lawyer, but everybody knows once you're a felon, odds are you won't be a COO of any company.
I don't know if he's even really got a woman. And I still call him just to irritate
Hey,
the other
be
vloggers.
nice. Inflatables have feelings too.
George, you're full of surprises tonight. I wish you was this spunky this morning.
Oh, I'm gonna save you.
I'm gonna take you back to the U.S. right back. Hey, baby, I'm gonna take you back to the U.S. Stop. Right, and it's like right. This woman's got feelings too. Yeah, like I said, he's somebody else's bitch now.
Inflatables have feelings too.
All
right. So again, according to him, he got out of prison in 2017, became a COO of a university.
And would we just miss a minute ago? Now you made me forget.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why we backtracked exactly to where he stopped.
At a university, I think
Believe in this right now?
COO at a university.
did a good job there. I was working my way, back up to respectability
I'm
despite
working
having
my
fallen
way
hard
back
and
to
fast.
you, babe.
Okay,
So I can
so
steal
that's where I stopped
more
because, again,
of your
honestly,
money.
there's only so much
So I can join
like
the
you can take, and again, you guys
He's
heard
still
it
part of that
from his
Dramageddon
mouth.
group.
Oh, I just got out of prison in 2017. I became a COO of a university. I passed a background check. Really? Okay.
Anyway, so this guy is full of surprises, and for extra, yeah, he's sitting up there probably with Barry still. That's actually sitting up in that jail. So I want to let you guys
probably
know
is. I mean, I'm not
that
picking on Barry,
he
but
told tons of people that he worked with in different places, including the people in court, that he was also a surgeon. Okay, that he was a surgeon.
Oh, it gets better.
That
Gets better.
worked with NFL Peyton Manning.
Peyton
He was
Manning,
his
he was.
surgeon.
Yep.
He was his personal surgeon. He was a Navy SEAL. People confirmed that at the hospital, and he said it in court. He was a real estate partner and agent of a bunch of properties. And I think that's about what I have on that part of it. But he was a surgeon and actually was a surgeon at Peyton Manning and knew him and everything.
Yeah, he is. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I think he's still single because when he came back here, allegedly, he kind of brushed a bunch of people off. And he, nobody really seen him with anybody. Like I said, he left a son and a woman back in Thailand. Who knows what's actually going on with that? But so there we have it. 3 felonies, 10 years. He did, and got released in 2017. So where does that leave him now with his popular YouTube channel?
Where is Paul Caldwell now?
We'll play these other clips that I have. They're just documents that we actually have. It's just showing his FBI when he was wanted, when he actually took off to Thailand. There's his wanted poster that people found. Got to give it a minute here.
Yeah, again, he was on the most wanted list.
Here he is when he was in court. He lost quite a bit of weight. He was even bigger. Here's where a bunch of newspapers covered him, where he was the chief of that big hospital in Wyoming. That's the one that he took a lot more money from. It was a public hospital. And then the other one, he had wired the money directly to the friend that went to jail. Oh, here's his federal records that we actually found. And it said when he was released. He was released in 2017, guys.
Right.
Says it right at the bottom. When did he say he got released? 16?
16.
Lies.
Yeah, he did say
That is
16.
directly on a federal government site that actually shows federal people and when they were released. Okay, so that's not true either. So here's the thing: passport troubles. Usually, when people have federal records and that big of a criminal past with that kind of money, it usually doesn't pass through the FBI. It's 5 to 10 years and some additional documents to get those passports released. My guess is he really had to wait that 5 years and it got by the system somehow. Because when he got in trouble here in the Philippines, okay, he used his real name and passport. You have to. Everybody has to show their passport to get their visas renewed. And they said that he actually went into an office. So getting it with a criminal record would be hard. And a lot of people have to understand, if you have a felony, eventually things will catch up with you here. Okay. And they turn away child diddlers all the time, people that they think
It
are
happens
something.
every day.
Hundreds already
In
this
fact,
year.
it happens so regularly we don't tell you guys
This
about
is
it,
why we
'cause
really
it's a
didn't
daily
cover
thing.
this, because everybody knew that he was already in trouble. This is nothing new. People made it like his arrest was something new and this stuff in.
No, it's not.
So with a little research, like we said, we wanted to put something out, but we,
I
there's
mean,
a lot.
and like I said, we weren't going to cover this, but some of you guys again contact us and say, "Hey, why don't you
Yeah.
say something about us?" And this is what we're saying.
Yeah, and we wanted to cover it in full. Okay,
Correct.
so all right, you can play the next one
Oh,
because that's
I am.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
right. Blah, blah. Felony convictions. Most airlines with convicted and convicted felons, 5 to 10 years, they're on a banned list. Okay, and it's the same with entering countries. A lot of the Asian countries, I think Canada's one of most countries these days. It's changed. Being a felon and entering the countries, you might get away with it once in the past, but eventually they catch you. Okay, so well, who didn't hear that? Niche just saying that Mark stole his brother's passport when he
Oh,
fled.
dang, that's messed up.
I don't think he looks anything. So here's the community just a couple hours ago talking. Can you pause that? Is that
Hey,
pause?
let's pause right now.
Okay. And here we will get down to the basic theory before we go through and talk to people. As I understand it, if he was convicted and served time in the U.S. for his crime, okay, in this typical
Atrocious.
right
Convoluted
news account, it stated that he's being deported for being a convicted felon. Yeah, don't go anywhere with that, because I want to read what I'm sure you guys have already heard directly what the newspaper said, and every newspaper said the same. What I don't understand is that's the gist that I actually got, is that it was a new charge. And the reason I would say that, okay, is because of what was said by even the government newspaper. So me and George usually play on words. Sometimes we slip up during live streams. Especially it's hard during live streams. To give you an example. So let's see, entering the country, what the government say. All right. There was a lot going on, wasn't there? Let me.
Oh no, there's a lot going on. Unfortunately, it's hard to filter.
Prior to his arrest, the Bureau said the BI tourist visa section found that Caldwell applied online for a visa extension on March 27th. He was arrested on the 4th. So this has already been done a couple days ago. We said that this morning, that we had the basics. We knew this had happened. We had already had our live stream set up. We already prepared videos. We weren't going to change it all of a sudden, because it is what it was on that. It says that the tourist visa section conducted a secondary check after being prompted that he was a convicted U.S. felon. Because of this, the Bureau said its office in Cebu was alerted on the presence of the fugitive in the province. When somebody says the word fugitive, that no longer holds the fact that it was because he was a convicted felon. A fugitive means somebody on the run. Correct. So two theories have come up, and me and George kind of have our own. Hit the next one, because these are like people currently in the expat forum and messages that were actually left and understanding. A bit confused, but it appears that this guy was arrested in Bangkok on the same charges. Correct. It's the same thing. Okay, next one. There should be one more. Okay, hold that. That's the district document. So in saying that, we had read off these charges that you guys are going to see, but basically he was looking at a long amount of time and all of that. I myself do not believe the actual newspapers. I think that this is what I think. I think that they're looking at his old charges. Okay. There's only one other possibility in checking the United States and his background. I don't see any felony warrants. I don't see him on the FBI list again. I don't see him because if he was a fugitive wanted that bad, then they would have actually had a new one out. So his check came up clean. Okay. So now we're back to the point of, are they actually holding him because of his charges and he just came up and didn't pass a background check, and he's been here several times since. Okay. Well, you know what, Niche, they don't ask if people are a fugitive or not, or if they've ever been. They never ask any of those questions. It's only so many of the passengers do they check when they're coming through. Okay. So if they ask at the airport and then he lied, it may be one thing, but believe it or not, for the most part, they just let people in pretty much. They scan the passport, and if nothing comes up, but they do catch a lot of them. So it depends on what kind of check. It's kind of like entering the US. It depends on, like which airport. It's really easy to get through the Angel City, but they catch them on a daily basis. Like you said,
Yeah,
diddlers
it's daily. It's
and
daily.
felons and everything else. Now, here's the thing we've been telling people is that now with felonies and a better system in place, they're not only catching overstayers quicker here. Okay. Everybody's thinking it's the old Philippines from pre-pandemic. No, they got better at their game. They're catching these guys left and right. So be warned, they're catching these people. And technically by Filipino law, felons aren't really technically allowed here. With that type of background check, you're not, with that type of background and you in trouble like that, if it falls under the categories of their guidelines, which is almost everything that's felon, then if they find this out, or they usually find out, then you're not allowed in the country. Okay, so we've heard several people say that you're not allowed. Oh, bull crap, I'm in. It's just a matter of being caught. These are usually people that have only been here, for
Right.
X amount of time. And, a lot of them haven't even done a background check here. They didn't get one when they left. They'll find it.
And they do
They
check.
will find it.
do
They
check.
do check when you get your documents, your 13As, your SRRBs. They will check all of that. Okay, so those that are staying long term, you go back in a second or third time. Like I've been here 36 months. They clear me every time. They check every time to make sure they check all these systems. So my guess is that he's actually, I think they're just coming back on the same charges.
Correct. I think he's just what's that?
He's on-
Undesirable.
Correct.
Persona non grata.
Because there is no outstanding. Now, here's the thing. There is a small chance. I can't see if the IRS wants him and then they're trying to grab him for money. We cannot see if he completed probation because I don't see anything new. No new warrants, no nothing. Okay.
Whoa. He already paid up to $3.75 million.
And his taxes, yeah.
He just said that.
It's because he's a felon would be our guess. None of this in between that there are new charges, because the funny thing is all the newspapers, including the Philippine government, is calling him an actual fugitive. He has the records are showing he was released and he should have been past probation, except for possibly the taxes and possibly
it's very possible.
But there is no current warrants that can be seen in public. So
in all probability, it's either a failure in restitution or, again, a persona non grata issue, or both. It could be both.
Yep.
Is there more on this one?
You can play it. It's just the actual court records. So it's some of them. It shows where it was filed. In the end, it says how many. Yeah, I know. I guess it shrunk it down. It's wire fraud. And there's his final, 290 years, 3.7, 3 years of supervised probation, which would have took him out to 2020. That's another funny thing, is it would have took him out to 2020, and then he would have had to wait 5 years for that passport, because while you're on probation, he still would have been under the care and needed permission. That's another funny thing, but it does show release 2017.
Correct. And again, like we said, that's why we established Paul Cardwell's character first, because you have to remember what the type of person you're dealing with. Again, I'm not condemning Paul, but in his own words, he pretty much nailed himself, if that makes any sense.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Lord, give me a sign, a sign.